Today, we're going to tackle diet confusion, tales from the practice. Many of you know that my practice, Center Spring MD, is based in Atlanta, but has really expanded virtually, where we see people from all over the world. And I can tell you that whether I'm doing a retreat for, very superpowered women, big CEOs, or I'm dealing with refugees in Clarkston, Georgia here, or even in Africa, helping women in different camps there, the questions are the same. What is healthy to eat? How should we eat? So, there are about 4 or 5 major diet types. And I'm going to list them out. We have the anti-inflammatory diet, kind of founded by Dr. Weil, one that I was schooled in and trained in pretty early on, very similar to the Mediterranean diet. Huge pro with lots of healthy fats, lots of plant-based foods, getting in plenty of fiber. It does recognize the importance of meat and doesn't eliminate meat in its entirety, but again, is very focused on whole foods, whole grains, all of that other good stuff. Moving on from that, we sort of evolved from that anti-inflammatory diet into what many people started following, which was a paleo diet, which got rid of all grain and really focused on animal protein, vegetables as their primary source of carbohydrate, getting in a little bit of the healthy fat, but less of an emphasis on that healthy fat. Many of our hunter-gatherer types, pittas in Ayurvedic medicine, many of them did well on that diet and flourished on that diet as well. And then along came keto, and keto threw a big wrench at it because all of a sudden people were losing weight on keto and it was incredible. Like pounds were falling off, all this amazing stuff was happening until triglyceride numbers, cholesterol markers, heart health markers started to skew in a different direction. Here's the deal with keto. Keto focuses on getting more fats in your diet. It will allow saturated fats, fats from different meat sources in. It's very low in fiber, very low in carbohydrates as well. So it works, and it works in limited amounts to really lower insulin and to jumpstart your body into sort of a fat burning mode. But here's the problem with keto, especially in women. It works for 3 to 4 weeks, but then it starts to mess with the thyroid and it starts to mess with the other hormones, and it starts to drive your metabolic rate in the opposite direction. So keto, while a great maybe short-term strategy, for me is not a long-term strategy based on what I've seen in practice. All right, anti-inflammatory, paleo, keto. What about, Dr. Tess, intermittent fasting? I know you're asking me that question right now. I love intermittent fasting. I thought it was genius, brilliant, sort of, in terms of getting people to eat within a particular window and really cutting down some of the behaviors that really sabotage us. And that's mindless snacking, reaching for junk food every now and then, eating late into the night. It stopped a lot of those behaviors. But then, of course, like all things, many people took it too far. And what we're finding is that with super long fast, that actually pushes you into a hypometabolic state. Fasting right before your cycle actually pushes you into a hypo or slower metabolic state. And that's because the body craves carbohydrates. It needs those carbohydrates to function, for progesterone and estrogen to cycle properly. The other thing we were finding is it's hard to get your macros in when you're not eating throughout the span of the day. So women often walk away from intermittent fasting being very low in protein, being very low in dietary fiber, and simply not getting the nutrients they need. So intermittent fasting, definitely an option, but a permanent option, I would say no as a permanent option. I actually believe in cycle keto or cycle fasting, where you're rotating these things around so that your body metabolically is not getting used to one particular style of eating. If you want a jumpstart or a change or a reset, then there's so many different things you can do. You could do keto for 2 or 3 weeks to jumpstart sort of the fat burning. You could do fasting, intermittent fasting for a couple of weeks. You could do a 12-hour fast on a more routine basis in terms of not eating, and then move to a 14 or even 16-hour fast 2 or 3 days a week. So you can play with it, you can rotate it. That metabolic engine of our gut loves it when we rotate things around and when we challenge it, because that way it doesn't know what to expect.